Hello, beautiful people of the internet. What's up? It's your girl, Lakisha. What is one thing that most women all across the globe have in common? We all have periods. And for something that we all do on a monthly basis, it is seriously time that we make periods more comfortable, more eco-friendly, and a non-taboo topic. For the past 7 days, I've tried period underwear during my cycle, and in today's video, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the experience using them, and I'm also going to cover some of the FAQs that I saw on the internet, some of the most popular questions. If this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Lakisha, and on this channel, I post a lot of skincare, makeup, lifestyle, and even hair-related videos. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then make sure you are subscribed. And without further ado, let's talk about my period. Full disclosure, I am very comfortable talking about my period. It is something I've been doing for the past 15 years. But I do understand that there are some people who may not be as comfortable as I am. So if this is you, go ahead, feel free to click off this video. Now that all of us mature human beings are still here, let's carry on. Okay, what is period underwear? Period underwear is essentially a underwear that has a built-in technology, typically a multi-layered fabric that collects your menstrual blood. The purpose of this, of course, is to try to eliminate the use of single-use feminine hygiene products like tampons and pads. Speaking from my personal experience, I'd say I'd probably use about 20 single-use items for my period. And you have them once a month. It comes with maybe 80 in a box. You have to buy different kinds. You have to buy the one for overnight. You have to buy the daytime. You have to buy the thin one if you have a heavy flow. And they aren't that cheap. I mean, they're not even that comfortable. What is it made of? I went through a number of different brands that carry these period underwears to find one that I really enjoyed. The one that I settled on is from a brand called Knix, and I really just liked their aesthetic. I love the styles that they had. So answering this question, I'll be taking it directly from their website. There are 3 layers to the underwear. So there is the moisture wick honeycomb layer, which I've actually put it under water and you can see the honeycomb. It's kind of cool. But this is supposed to be an anti-odor layer. So this will make sure that you're not stinking up the place or anything like that. It's really unsettling when you can smell yourself. So great that they have that there. Then they have the super absorbency liquid lock layer, and this is where your actual blood is going to be collected and dispersed. And then they have the liquid resistant outer layer, and this is supposed to help prevent any leaks from your underwear, so your clothes are safe and your bed sheets are safe too. So there are 4 different absorbency levels. There is light, medium, high, and super. They work exactly the same way that they do when you're looking at like pads or tampons, and on their website you can actually see like how many tampons would this hold worth of blood. So that's really cool too. Now these are designed to be worn without tampons or pads, but you can definitely wear it with it if you feel more comfortable. But the whole point is to get rid of waste, so I personally didn't wear anything with it. I don't really know why this is a question, but for anyone who's wondering, you cannot return these for hygienic reasons. But they do have a virtual fitting, so you can really see what size best fits you, and that should help you determine which one you want to get. For reference, I fit a US jean size 4, and I purchased all of these in a size small. So the next question was, is the leak-proof period underwear breathable? Can it give me an infection? So the short answer is no. They do have their antimicrobial layer that's supposed to protect against getting yeast infections, growth of bacteria, all that good stuff. So you shouldn't have a problem wearing those. If you do have a problem, then that's definitely a conversation for your doctor. And there are probably other things that you can use to help you with that problem. You're not going to get a problem from using these underwears. Just make sure that you clean them properly, right? The next question was, are they waterproof? So the short answer is no. Essentially, the way that they're designed, if you were to go in a pool, the water would fill up in the underwear and you wouldn't be able to hold any more liquid, so no. But there is a brand that I've seen online that does sell period bathing suits, which I think is kind of interesting. Haven't tried it myself. If you have, leave it down below, but that's definitely an interesting concept. How many do you need? That's another good question. It depends on your flow. If you have a heavy flow, then you may want to get more. Personally, I have a medium flow. I got about 5 pairs, but I feel like I should have gotten 7, so I'm going to order 2 more pairs. I kind of wore one in the day, one at night, and just kind of kept rotating like that, and I was fine. So to answer this question, you kind of have to look at your own body and your own cycle. The next question is how to wash them. So essentially, you just run them under cold water after you've taken them off immediately. Rinse them under cold water. I kind of keep squeezing it until the water turns clear and it's no longer has any trace of blood or red in it. You get really personal with your underwear. So if you're not comfortable holding your bodily fluids, then girl, get comfortable. So run it under the water. I typically do this in the shower, so I'm doing this all at once. And then I'll just put it up in my shower to hang dry. I have a separate hook for it. In the morning, once it is dry, I put it in the little mesh bag that is given, and then you just put it in the wash as normal. I don't put it in the dryer. I'll lay it flat to dry on a drying rack, and then you're good to go, basically. The last question was, how long do they last? And that is a very good question. I've had underwears for years, like regular underwears for years, and that's because I don't grow. So I've been able to have them for such a long time. With these and the specific technology that's in there, as long as you're taking care of them, I don't see why they can't last for 5+ years. Now, I haven't had them for 5+ years, so I'll tell you once it's been 5 years. And I haven't seen anything on their website that specifically says how long do they last. If you guys know of anyone who has mentioned, leave it down below so we all are aware. So that was a long intro. Let's get into the days. So like I said, I got 5 pairs. For day number 1, I started off with the leak-proof high-rise. It says invincibility in underwear form. My first impression of this underwear is that it is so soft. It almost feels like a mix between like swimsuit material and maybe like shapewear because it's kind of spandex. And then the inside feels like a really interesting cotton. This is like the protective layer that's on the inside. It has this seamless edge finish, which is my favorite type of undergarments because you don't actually see it underneath your clothes. I've been wearing the high-waisted one for 2 hours now. Just went to the bathroom and I don't feel like any type of, I don't feel wet. I don't feel like there's anything there really. It doesn't feel completely dry, but it feels just like you're wearing a very, very thin pad. I do like the fact that there's nothing between me and my actual undergarments, whereas like a tampon or a pad would be, there'd be something between you, but this is actually pretty comfortable. The first day of my period is never like crazy heavy, but it's heavy enough. So this is the one that I wanted to go with. And I felt like I was very protected. I felt very covered. It is now 6 p.m. So it's been a whole day wearing this one pair of period underwear. My plan here is to rinse it out while I'm in the shower and then just hang it up to dry. And then I'm going to put on my overnight ones. So how I use them is I basically wore one in the daytime and one at night, and I just kept switching. So when nighttime rolled around, I got into the super leak-proof bikini. And this one is super absorbency. So this is the 4th tier. This is heavy duty because the second days for me are typically heavy duty. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to bed with something that could withstand. It's called a cheeky, but it feels to me like just a regular undergarment that cuts off by your hips. Personally, I like undergarments that cut off by your waist because they give you more of like that shape. With this one, I found that it fit a little tight. It's supposed to fit snug, so there's no leakage or anything like that, but I just felt like it was a little tight in certain areas where your leg meets your other part of you. It felt like it was digging into me a little bit. Not digging into me, but like it felt like it was pinching my skin a bit. Not completely uncomfortable, but I kept having to adjust it a little bit. So that was overnight. Once again, no leakage, actually. Very surprised about that. I did end up putting on like a little bit of lotion on my leg just to stop like any chafing or anything like that, and it was totally fine. Now, it does say on the back of the packaging that you may find they feel snug at first, but the fabric will relax to a perfect fit with time as you wear and wash them. So I mean, I was expecting it. I also did not experience any leakage, which is something that I was concerned about because with the other one, the high-rise one, the length of the pad was not long enough. On a regular basis, I would wear the overnight pads when I went to bed, and they would be long. They'd all the way, down your back or whatever. But the actual pad that is built into these underwears is a bit shorter. So I was kind of worried that I was going to spill out into the rest of the underwear that is not leak proof or anything like that, and it would spill out into my bed. I actually have a blanket on my bed just to protect my sheets because they're white sheets, and I don't want to destroy my white sheets for the sake of this video. There was no leakage. I didn't have any problem with that. So for the daytime, I transitioned into another high absorbency underwear because day 2 once again is very heavy for me. So this one is the super leak proof thong. I've never worn a thong on my second day of my period, but this was actually the most comfortable. This is honestly my favorite out of all of them. For the first like hour or so, same thing. It felt like it was a little bit shifty, but after an hour, it kind of morphed to my body very nicely, and I didn't even feel it. I didn't even realize that I was wearing these, period undergarments at all. It felt so amazing. It was so comfortable. Like it felt so snug. And the thing about it is, I didn't feel uncomfortable. Like I said before, I would normally wear pads, and there's no way to feel sexy when you're wearing pads. Like it's just not a sexy situation. It feels like you're wearing an adult diaper, to be honest. It was nice to not feel like I was wearing a diaper. It felt like a regular underwear that I would normally buy. And that's what I liked about this the most. It just felt so comfortable, so comfortable. I love this one. For the second night, I went into my high rise pair of underwear. This is the leak proof high rise that I talked about before. This is now in the shade nude. Also, guys, when they say this is nude, this is the brown one. This is actually my type of nude. I was kind of shocked at how it looked on my body. Honestly, I've never worn nude before. As a person with dark skin, nude has always been like beige, light brown. It's always been khaki. It's never been my actual color. So I know that there are some other brands that offer undergarments that are in nude for dark skin complexions, but I've personally never tried one before. Trying this, I was really shocked at how nice it looked on my body. So woke up the morning, there was no blood in my bed. Hooray for us and our white sheets. Day number 3, this is when I felt like I should have gotten an extra pair because I didn't know which one to wear. The thing about these underwears is that the padding is black. So you have no idea if your flow is easing up, if it's getting heavier, you have no idea what's going on. And this is why I would say, like, maybe have your cycle, let it run its course while you're wearing, things that you can see it before getting a period underwear because you need to know how your cycle behaves. This ties into the question, when do you change it? You don't know, really. For the sake of being, erring on the side of caution, I decided to rewear the thong. No, it was washed. I washed it in the shower. I washed it with soap, rinsed it and everything, and dried it. So it was fine. But yeah, I did rewear that one because it was my favorite and because I had no idea how far along I was on my period. So I rewore that one. And yeah, there was no problem there. It was dry. That leads me into one other thing. Because you're basically carrying around blood in your underwear. I did feel when I was going to the bathroom, going to the bathroom, you pull it down, of course. When you put it back on, you're going to feel cold. Yeah, not wet, just cold. Just, it's going to take a minute for your blood to re-temporize. Sure, to your body, but you're going to feel a little, okay. But it's not like it's wet or anything. It's just the temperature is going to be a little cold. That's all. On that evening, I switched into the last pair that I purchased. This is the leak-proof lace thong. I loved this so much. It was so comfortable. Like, who can make you feel sexy when you're cramping and there's blood coming out of you? The thongs can do it. And this one can do it. This one did it. But when the nighttime came around, I was out of underwear and I really didn't know what to do. Once again, I had no idea whether I was at the end of my flow, whether it was done, whether it was still, trickling off. So I decided to then wear liners for the next 2 days. So that's why I feel like I need like 3 other pairs to compensate for those last days. But how amazing would it be if every single woman all over the globe was able to have a pair of period underwear? I've seen a video online of homeless women and basically everything that they do to care for themselves when they're menstruating. It's something that I never really thought about before. And these women, they would take a pad and break it apart, take the cotton, and use one single high absorbency pad for the next like 7 days. And they would just, keep using the cotton in themselves. I never thought of it before. I never thought of that. I am so fortunate right now that I have a full-time job, especially given the current climate, and I have side hustles that give me passive income. But when I was in university, I worked 2 jobs and I was barely scraping by, trying to avoid my rent, my tuition fees, books, food. And I remember when my period came around, I was always dreading my period because it just was another expense that I had to make. I remember there were times when I was deciding, like, how much do I spend on groceries? How much do I spend on my sanitary products? Because they get expensive. And back then, they were taxed. And even though they're not taxed now, they're still expensive. If my roommates would get their period, I would stay far, far away from them because I budgeted a specific amount of money to purchase my pads. I can't have you starting my period early because I don't have pads yet. This is why I love these period underwears. I feel like it truly brings the essence of what I believe Mary Davidson, who is the inventor of the sanitary belt, the Black woman, okay, thank you very much, really had in mind when she created that. It was supposed to be something reusable, something convenient, something that was discreet, comfortable, that you could use. Capitalism and commodification of these products have turned it into a multi-million-dollar business, but I'm getting off topic. But the point is, I feel like every single girl should have at least 2 pairs of this underwear, and that would eliminate the need to spend $5,000 in your lifetime on sanitary products. Give it a try and let us know down below what are your thoughts. Have you ever tried them before? I would love to hear your experience. Once again, if you have further questions, leave them down below. Click over here to see some of my previous videos. Let me know what else you guys want to see. Remember to stay gorgeous, stay fabulous, because I will see you, lovely ladies and gents, in the next video. Bye.